Hey, what's up traders? It's Chris here from Grindstone Trading. I just wanted to make another recap video. I want to get in the habit of doing these and show you guys what I saw today, what I traded today, what I avoided today, what I completely missed today, all that sort of stuff. I'm trying to find a place on the screen where I can put my big fat head where I'm not in the way here, so I basically stuck myself down in the corner here. Starting with ADMP. This one's been on my radar for a while. Basically what I was watching, I didn't become aware of it until it hit my scanners when this big volume started coming in. Around 11:04, it just got a real good pump there. I took a gamble on it. I just bought this little pullback here, traded it up, traded it all out by 84 right here. Saw this pullback here. It wasn't running on anything though, so I didn't have any faith in buying it a second time. I got fortunate on the first pullback run up, and I wasn't confident enough to buy the second one on the breakout here because, again, it just wasn't running on anything but potential. So I just left it alone. Bit of a mistake. It ran pretty good throughout the day here. I think it peaked out later in the day. The real serious volume didn't start showing up until not long before close here, where it popped to about $1.05. So it did okay. I wasn't confident enough to hold it throughout the day, but congrats to anybody who caught this one and did hold. This is sort of my big miss on the day. CCXI was down over 60% at one point during the day. And what you're not seeing on these candles in here is it actually halted right in here, right at about the 18-ish mark, and then had a drop down to 1779, and then it was just all up for the rest of the day. I think I actually saw the halt, and I still passed on it at about 19 or 20 here. Obviously, huge regrets, really wishing I had, seeing how when it came out of the halt, it was just nothing but solid volume coming out of that halt. Buying halts is always risky, but I mean, this one would have made a lot of sense. On the way down, it had just dropped so much, and you could see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 minutes of solid buying coming in. It was a fairly easy play. I just sort of missed it and passed on it, so my bad. This one would have been a really nice one, but can't catch them all, I suppose. COCP, this is sort of the big winner for everybody on the day. I saw the little pop in the morning, and then it pulled back, popped again, and we see here how it's setting up resistance. Pop. It's not breaking over. What are we at here? $1.95 essentially. So basically, I was letting it go from here. I didn't have an order in, but then it popped over here. Got rejected at, where are we at? About 220. Pulled right back, so you could see that this $1.95, $1.96 level was now acting as support. Had kind of 4 minutes to make that assessment. And then it popped back up again. And this is where I bought, essentially, when it broke 220. That's where I got in on the 220 break right here. So once I think my order actually filled at 221 or 222 or something like that. So I actually just straight up aggressively bought this break. I could see very clearly and easily that this is where the volume was today. People were looking at this like this is going to be today's PRPO from yesterday. So I was very confident buying this break. I was all out about here, about 280 or so. So I caught this move, and it was a wonderful move. And I just put some guidelines on here for people who are trading it for the rest of the day, so you kind of see it setting up. Got rejected at 291, pulled back to 246, I think it bottomed out at, back up to the same level, back down to the same level, so you could really see a solid pattern forming here. In fact, I'll actually just put one more trend line right in there just to make that really pop out, because that is a very obvious trend line right there that was happening. So you could have channel traded this one in here, but then it started to set up for real. You could see it wasn't pulling back quite as low, and it wasn't pulling back quite as low. So buying this pattern here on this sort of ascend would have been a solid bet. Buying the break of 290 here, stop buy order at 292 to 295, somewhere in that area, would have paid off in a big way with a stop loss just below here. I didn't take this one. It had just run too far by this point. I had kind of moved on to other things. And then the shorting opportunity would have come over here, but because it's such a low float, there were no shares available for shorting. at least not that I could get my hands on. So once it broke $3, it was a fairly obvious short, but by that point in time, I couldn't get my hands on any shares, so I just sort of left it alone for the rest of the day. EDSA, this is sort of my boo-boo on the day. This is where I got stopped out. It was a huge green candle here, absolutely lit up my scanners. I know this company has some COVID-19 stuff that they're working on, but I knew they weren't running on anything. So I had saw this candle, and I bought this pullback here at about the 7 to 705 mark, and I had a no-nonsense stop of, I think it was 679 or something like that. Long story short, I wasn't even in it for long. I bought in like here, and I got stopped out right about here. And if something isn't running on news and you take a gamble on it, that's exactly what I recommend you do. Just stop out and be done with it. Don't try to hang on to it and go, oh, news is coming, or whatever it is people tell themselves when they hold on to a stock that's running seemingly for no reason. You really have to use a stop loss when you take a risk on these ones, and this is exactly why I pulled back to 660. Maybe it runs again someday, but that's not how I play the game here. I'm looking for instant gratification when I'm day trading. This is not one of my hold plays. We called this one out in our group as a hold at, I think it was right around the $5 mark here. So we are swinging this one as well, or at least some members in our group are. But if it's not running, if there's no continuation to it, it's not something I was interested in holding. FAMI, FAMI, basically I loaded up on the big dip here to the 30 cents, right to their offering number, and I sold the next day, or maybe it was the day after the next day, for about 55-ish, so I did pretty good. And everybody was expecting a pullback, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Let's do this back out. So we had today, we're starting off the day very, very strong. And anytime I see something in pre-market that's just, oh, it's popped, it's pulling back, I'm expecting a big sell, and that's exactly what happened. So the big sell happened. There we go. And then popped. It bounced off of about 42, 43, popped right back up to about 45, 46, dropped all the way back down, and I actually got my order filled right at about here, 43 and change or something like that. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. It got filled right here. There was no pattern forming at the time. That was just it. I saw this green candle come back up, so I actually managed to get filled right in that green candle, with the whole psychology being we've got the green candle absolutely destroying it. So I looked at it as a very bullish pattern forming in here. And then I traded it all up to about here-ish, give or take. I think I cashed out at about 46 or 47. So I caught this move here and then just left it alone for the rest of the day. Even looking at it now, I'm not seeing any really solid setups. You can kind of see an ascending trend here, but then it started to kind of fade out for the rest of the day. And you can see down here the volume just was not there today. So I'm actually almost expecting another big tank on this one back into the 30s over the next couple of days, where I will very seriously consider buying this one again. I've done nothing but make money trading FAMI. I've never lost a dime trading FAMI. So very happy with this this stock here. So it's done very, very well for me. LEDS, I caught this one. This one lit up my scanners right here. Just boom, boom, boom. Just lit up the scanners and pulled back. I didn't see any news or any relevant information other than a fairly bullish article about the semiconductor industry as a whole. So I left it alone. I didn't touch this one. I didn't buy this pullback or anything like that. And then within 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 minutes, it had just absolutely blasted off up 50-odd%. So it would have been a solid buy. However, what I did instead is I started looking for adjacents that were getting volume, and I jumped into MOSY. I actually bought fairly high, actually. I bought like right about in here, just simply because I'm looking at LEDS going, okay, well, if this one's going to run 80% on the day, MOSY has to do something. It just has to. It doesn't make any sense for it not to. So I fairly confidently bought in here, and it was looking terrible for a while, but I didn't set a stop loss on it. I was very, very confident in this trade just because of what LEDS was doing. And sure enough, right as soon as we started to approach and get into after hours, I think I sold it all at about 383, or sorry, 483, 484, somewhere in this area here, and I just got rid of it, the whole position. I didn't scale out or anything like that. I was expecting a pop. I got my pop. I took it, and that was that. PRPO, I did actually trade this one today. Everybody knew it was gonna it was gonna pull back for sure, especially after right at the start of the day it just crashed right up to 9. I didn't touch it here. I was waiting for the pullbacks, and then the way I was playing it, I should have actually done this before, but I was looking at this line right here. See if I get it right on 601. Okay, 60008, whatever. It kept kind of jumping to about 495, 496. So I was kind of looking at the $6 mark as being a really, really solid opportunity. Right in here, I could see it stop, kind of breaking down. Wasn't sure which direction it was going to go. And then pulling back to the same low it did before. This actually would have been a solid buy. I passed on it. I saw it, but I passed on it, even though it was the same low. I wasn't super confident buying in here, and it would have been a fairly long hold anyway. It never did break 5, though. So, I mean, a buy here with a stop at 499 would have been perfect. The opportunity was here. Let me just show you guys here. The opportunity to get back into this one presented itself right here. This is the confident buy. You can see it break down here to the 515, 510 mark, and then tries to go back up, tries, keeps getting stopped at about 535-ish, give or take. So a stop buy at 537 to 540, somewhere in there, would have been a very, very confident buy and a very profitable buy, because you would have caught this move here, straight back up. I didn't catch that one either. I was still really focusing on the $6 mark, and I was over on other charts doing other things around this time. But when I saw this candle come up, basically I kind of moved my buy down here to just under the $6 mark. I figured if it was going to pop back up and break this trend, it would pop to a new high. Sure enough, it did. So I caught this tiny little move here from about 598 to, and I sold everything at about 620. I was just like, I'm not risking it. So I just I had a little tiny scalp in there, and that was the only time I played it. But the play I missed, again, is this one, right down here. Dropped to the $5 level, started to bounce around, and then dropped back to the $5 level. And then when it broke back above this point, this is the solid buy. This is the confident buy that I should have taken. Reed was going, but it was never really getting solid volume at any point during the day. That was part of the problem, and part of why I and most other people kind of just left it be. It spiked, pulled back, and it started to really, really consolidate well in the 20s, and kind of in that low to high 20s. All throughout the 20 range was kind of a good buy consolidation. It dropped to the 20s, dropped to the 20s, dropped into the 20s, dropped into the 20s. So that would have been a good way to play this one. What I did instead is it popped, and then when it pulled back up to here, it was having trouble and it broke down. It pulled back up to that same level, and I could see that it was having trouble again maintaining it, so I shorted it right here, and I managed to cash out right about down here. It was lucky, but there were no shares to short. So when shares became available to short, just a handful of shares became available all of a sudden on my brokerage. I snatched them up right here and shorted, and then cashed out right at about, I think, 130 or 132 or something like that on this dropout. I wasn't gonna hold, even though I don't really think this one's gonna do a ton more unless they get some more really positive news coming in. But that's essentially what I was looking at for trading today. So that's a snapshot of my day, guys. These were the plays today. I really hope that you guys caught some of these with me. I was successful on 6 out of 8 trades today were profitable, so I'm green on the day, and I'm very, very happy about that. Hopefully you guys had similar luck, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Best of luck for the rest of the week, guys. Take care.